district proposal for a housing district. Trident Development is proposing to construct a 76-unit senior housing project that would consist of a combination of apartments as well as memory care units. In Trident Development, we do have Roger Fink here tonight representing the development. If you have specific questions around this time, however, I anticipate we'll get more into those things if the council decides to proceed with the application at that point. What we're kind of looking for is just consensus if it's something you wish to consider. I did include in your package just real briefly. These are obviously subject to change to their final layouts or renderings at this point, but they were willing to share with us as part of the application some things. So this shows proposed development to be located near Novotny Lake Forest, near the new Quick Trip and the proposed VA clinic. On one of the corners there, kind of shows across the site layout of that proposal. And then included in your packet, we did put some renderings, as I mentioned. Those are subject to change. It's just kind of something that there would potentially look like a two-story building. It would be a combination of those senior apartment units as well as memory care units located on one end of the wing. Normally, as part of our tax increment process, we do accept the application, and then the council would ultimately decide if they want to proceed with it at that point. And if you are interested in learning more about it and wanting to explore the level of assistance that would be necessary for the project, we would engage with Ellers, who is our tax increment consultant, and they'll put together more detailed information on the proposed amount of increment that would be necessary for the project, working with the developer during that process and inform us the need for that for the tax increment financing. As you're aware, tax increment financing would, under this form, would be a pay-as-you-go note. So what would happen is the property taxes are paid as part of that, but the increase in valuation that occurs because of the construction of the building, so really the building construction increase from the land value would be calculated as tax increment, and then a portion of that is rebated back to the developer to pay for eligible project costs. In this case, it's the housing district, so they would have to set aside a certain number of units, and 20% required to meet that would be utilized to be eligible for the tax increase. There's specific questions, I guess, for me, or if there's something specific you would like to know the developer at this point. Otherwise, just looking for some direction on what you want to proceed.
I just want to confirm my understanding of tonight. Tonight is effectively a preliminary yes to the process, learn more. The 20% is potentially negotiable, the length is negotiable, the amount of money involved is negotiable.
Right, that'll all be flushed out with the formal conversations with the developers.
My questions today too, so I don't want to lock in anything till I'm just told that that's not the way it'll be, so.
Right. Yeah, it's just more if you're not interested, then we should let the developer know. If you want to learn more about it and have some interest, then we'll proceed to the business.
I think voice of one, I'm interested.
Yeah, I am too.
Yes.
Proceeding and see what we can work out.
Very good.
We can benefit everybody, so.
We'll let Ellers know.
Okay.
Be in contact, Roger. Roger's a new resident of Baxter, by the way, so.
Okay. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you in the future meeting.
Yeah. There will be. Great. Thanks for coming. Okay, jump right into the next one.
So we placed on your work session agenda just final direction as we set the final property tax levy and proposed budget for 2026. It is scheduled for the next council meeting on the 16th. So it just needs a final direction. Any last minute changes you'd like to make to the proposed budget, and or more importantly, what to set the levy at, I guess, as we prepare the documents for next meeting.
Any big changes since last night?
No. I think we had kind of a major consensus last time to stay with where you were at the 4.1. So
Yeah, so just a recap of that, so we did set the preliminary levy at a 5% increase. That was what was placed on truth taxation notices that went out earlier last month. As results of some additional reductions we were able to make, mainly with health insurance premiums, we were able to identify $86,000 roughly of a reduction in the levy, and that was discussed at the November 18th meeting. That would reduce the overall impact to about 4.07 or 4.1% of an increase in the levy. And as we went over last night,
Council, any questions or comments on that?
and we'll proceed to set it at reduced to 86,000 and go from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Brad?
No, that's it, Your Honor.
Okay. That was painless. We'll look for a motion to adjourn the work session.
Move to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor.
Aye.
We'll be back at 7 o'clock.
Haven't seen you in forever.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome. First thing on our agenda after that is a presentation. Our chief.
Good evening. So as I kind of explained in a previous meeting with our new officers, I'd like to introduce them once they complete field training so you guys have an understanding of who's working for the city and in case you see them out and about, and also recognize them for the hard work that they've done thus far getting through our stressful field training program. So without any further delay, I'll have Morgan Attenberger step up here. I promise you, right up here, front and center. All right, right there. Morgan comes to us with about 4 years of experience. She started with some small-time agencies down in the Glencoe area and worked part-time and worked her way up to a full-time status with Glencoe PD and worked there for about 3 to 3.5 years, roughly, full-time. Morgan comes to us, she had a passion with TZD, or Towards Zero Death, and she was their TZD coordinator and kind of worked with them on that and doing public events and worked in TZD shifts. So Morgan was hired with us in the beginning of July, and she completed our field training program, which is normally a 4-month process, and she completed it in 3 months, and that's the benefit of hiring some lateral transfers like Morgan with the experience. She was able to get done and get back out on the streets quicker. So she started solo patrol here in October with us and is currently assigned to the overnight shift. So if you see Morgan out and about, wave, she won't pull you over unless you do something wrong.
So you assigned to the what, did you say? Overnight? Overnight.
Yep, so that's at 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift.
So this group's in bed,
So yeah, just want to introduce her and also recognize her for completing field training quickly and safely. She's done a great job thus far and is a good addition to our department and city. So,
Great. Welcome, thanks.
any questions, Morgan?
No, thanks for joining us.
Told you to be painless. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additions or changes to the agenda?
There are none, excuse me, there are none there.
Okay, move ahead, consent agenda. The following items are considered non-controversial. Excuse me.
You do have public comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have offers in the crowd. Yeah, I'm sorry. Very, very sorry.
Good evening. I'm going to read I guess in here I just have some public comments, and then I guess I have a question at the end of those. My name is Kirsten Smith. I've lived in Baxter more than 20 years. We've been in the same house, and to be transparent, in the past 10 years, my husband and I have been more politically active in the county. He is currently the chair of the local Republican DPOU. I want you to know that. I want you to know that I am here alone. Clearly, he's not here. I think he'd have my back on this. I haven't even discussed it with him. It's been heavy on my heart today, and so here I am. It's important for me to say these are my personal feelings as a citizen, not part of any party. But I stand before you here as a human with a concern. For the record, I have voted for you, Darrell, since early 2000s. So clearly your party or your political affiliation would not be of my concern. I have seen and heard many concerns about the Baxter City Council more in the past 3 years than ever, so I will admit I have some preconceived skepticism and frustrations. However, in the recent past, I have personally witnessed questionable happenings that I feel lead me here. I have witnessed uncooperative postures and verbal beatdowns of business owners, neighbors, and constituents. There was drama at a meeting about the road behind the Holiday Inn, or IHG, while I listened to a local business owner and others discuss their frustrations. It dawned on me. This is a clear communication issue. The city had met its minimum requirement to post about the issue, but clearly those methods are not reaching the people who they're affecting. How can that be? This is a small town. You've been mayor here as long as I can remember. I challenge you to think what this looks like from an outsider's view. You are the mayor, you know all of the business players in town, and you probably have some type of relationship with them. You knew there was a project that was going to be controversial and possibly have damning implications for small businesses. You put out a public meeting notice as required. I assume the newspaper and postal service. With all due respect, what is the chance in 2025 both options fail to reach the end user? They're pretty high, pretty high. There are numbers out there, it's pretty high. And in this area where we can't even get postal service daily, it's even higher. My neighbors get my mail, I get their mail. We get the mail from across the corner. So sometimes people are just busy and they miss something. You put out the public meeting notice as required. I assume newspaper, sorry, I meant to go back. With all due respect, what is the chance in 2025 both options fail? Either way, notice was sent, and you heard crickets. You just kept moving forward with it without thinking about the fact that, and I don't know Joan, I just know she owns that building, and she's the one that I watched some of the feedback about, or that issue. And it bothered me at that point to think that you guys barreled forward with that and nobody even thought to pick up a phone and call them. This isn't New York City. We live in Baxter, Minnesota. I saw business owners that came, and once their emotions erupted and they were to be dealt with because they didn't understand, they were worried about their business and everything else, I have to be real honest, I felt that your responses were disrespectful. I thought that they were rude. I thought that they didn't give anybody any empathy, and you took absolutely no responsibility. It bothered me, and it stuck with me. If you are the leadership in our community, and notice isn't reaching your target audience, who is really ultimately responsible? Not long after that, I witnessed a meeting when the dispatch brought a concern about the legality of an issue that was going to be dealt with in a closed-door session. I believe she also stated, and I could be wrong, so please note, this was done very quickly before I came in, and I could have some things wrong and could stand to be corrected if that's the case. But what I remember is that she brought forward the legality of an issue that was going to be dealt with in a closed-door session. I believe she also stated that the dispatch attorney had sent a legal response to the city about the issue, noting precedent. At no time did you offer to table the issue. At no time did you give her a response to her concern. You simply ignored her and went on doing what she stated was not legal. I have no love for the dispatch, but you completely ignored her, and that is unacceptable. It's unacceptable human behavior. No one deserves that, and no one is above answering those questions. Now my community is in the process of discussing a multi-million-dollar DOT construction project that looks, in my opinion, like it was developed by a second grader and the first of its kind on the globe. No one wants it, and you all seem supportive. All of these things lead my soul to question your integrity and the commitment to doing what is best for my community. With all of that in mind, what leads me here to this microphone on this Tuesday night, Mayor, is your refusal to sign a letter in support of 8 other mayors denouncing the Minnesota waste, fraud, and abuse. I have read this letter and can't for the life of me understand why you would not support denouncing such waste, fraud, and abuse, not only in the state of Minnesota, but in our communities. To be clear, the message you have sent to me as a simple resident is that you are above answering the legal requests of the press. You feel you are not above responding to constituents with respect and empathy. You're above calling your peer business leaders in a community who will be affected by your decisions if you haven't heard from them. And then you challenge them when they do speak up late due to their lack of effective communication. Somehow, some way, we're offering up our city, allowing it to look like a 5-ring construction circus, and now the icing on the cake. You are unable or unwilling to sign a letter in support of 8 other mayors in the Lakes area supporting an end to waste, fraud, and abuse in this state. In my professional life, these decisions for me usually boil down to being unwilling or unable. And if you are unwilling, then I believe, as a constituent that has voted for you for the last 20 years, I deserve an answer. If you are unable, then I'm extremely concerned, because that is usually because of personal interest or implication. This leaves me questioning the motives. You promote what you permit, and your silence and refusal to sign the letter supporting your surrounding peers whose cities support our economics says more about your loyalty and commitment to covering up the waste, fraud, and abuse of the state than the loyalty of protecting my neighbors and your loyal constituents who have put you in the seat that you're sitting in. I don't know if everybody has read the letter or not. But what I will say, and I don't need to stand here and read it, if I need to, so be it. But what I will tell you is it addresses the fact that we have had a lot of people leaving this state. And I'm going to tell you, what bothers me most about this letter and your refusal to sign it is that my business failed. And now I'm learning that a lot of the reason my business failed was because the money that was supposed to be paying me for the products I was giving my MA patients was going fraudulently into programs, and now where am I sitting? I also have children. Children I would have loved to have continue to live in Minnesota close to me, where I can raise my grandchildren, where I can stay where I want to be, where I've raised them for the last 20 years. I've lost both my kids in the last 2 years. One just the last couple months. So I have some serious questions and concerns, and I'm hoping that you can give me some peace to understand why, after everything else that I've seen, the simplicity of supporting 8 local mayors was too much to ask. Help me understand. Do you have an answer as to why you wouldn't sign the letter?
That was started by my good friend, Mayor Crossley, and we chatted about it quite a while. And after reading it, I just felt like it was pretty heavy-handed. It talked about how, we're congratulating the people that I guess they agree with, but in essence, that those people that we didn't agree with are somehow kicked to the curb. I have to work, this council has to work with everybody in St. Paul. We don't get to pick and choose who that's going to be. I have felt all of my career, quote unquote, to stay in my lane and deal with the things that are relevant to the city that I can deal with and can change. I talked to him, in fact, I talked to our senator and our representative, both of them in the last 2 months. So, I mean, I'm in contact with those people. It's not that, we're running and hiding from St. Paul at all. I just did not feel that it was our place to, at least my place to go there. And again, I thought it was pretty heavy-handed, and that's not who I am. So that probably won't satisfy you, but that's what it is.
No, thank you for your answer. It was thoughtful. And I'd let everybody, I just encourage anybody to read the letter and see how you feel about it, and that's fine. And I thank you for giving me that answer. It does give me some peace. I don't know that I agree with you.
No, I didn't.
I think in this time and place, I guess my last comment is, not only do you permit what, or you promote what you permit, but there has to be a point where you decide where you stand in line with fraud, waste, and abuse and illegal activity, or you don't. And I don't think that has any implications on who you work with down in St. Paul, unless they're part of the trash. And if they're part of the trash, it really should bother none of us. None of us. We are in a world right now where you need to call out what you see and hold people accountable. We are in a world where we need to learn to start having some difficult conversations, critical conversations. And I just look for all of you to put it in your heart and be able to do that and call it out and stand for us in this community, because I really feel like I'm a flag waving in the wind all by myself. And everything's fallen away, and there's nothing we can do about it. So I guess I just want to see a little more fight for us. That's all. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate your time. Anybody else? I'll send the letter to the rest of you tonight. We got it? Okay. All right, I want to cut anybody off. Anybody else wants to address this one? Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda then. The following items are considered non-controversial by staff and are recommended to be read and passed in one motion. Any council person, staff, citizen, or meeting attendee can request one or more items be pulled from the consent agenda. And the item will be pulled and addressed immediately after the passage of the consent agenda. Otherwise, the following items will be passed in one motion. Number 2, approve the city council special minutes from November 3rd, 2025. Number 3, approve the city council work session minutes from November 18th, 2025. Number 4, approve the city council minutes from November 18th, 2025. Number 5, approve the payment of bills and finance report. Number 6, accept Memorial Park bench donation of $2,370 for the memorial bench and approve the engraving of proposed bench location in Mississippi Overlook Park. Number 7, approve the 2026 meeting calendar for city council and commissions. Number 8, approve the issuance of a lower potency hemp edible registration to Super One Foods and Super One Liquor for the period of December 3rd, 2025 through December 31st, 2026. Number 9, approve the Johanic Appraisals LLC contract in the not to exceed amount of $28,400 for the 2026 Clearwater Road, North Lindale area, Redwood Circle Street and Utility Improvements Project, Municipal Project number 4068. Number 10, approve the conversion of unused vacation hours to deferred comp for the Finance and Public Works Directors.
Approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. No other business. Move down to council comments. Connie.
I wasn't going to say anything, but however, I'm feeling in my heart that I need to say something now. And this is just coming from me, voice of one. And Mayor Olson certainly does not need a defender or a cheerleader, but I've worked with him for 7 years now. And before I was elected to council, the only thing I knew of Mayor Olson was he was just an honest, genuine Christian man. And my support and my belief and my honor of working with him has only grown tenfold. I've never known a person who cares more about Baxter and the businesses and the people. So I, personally, my heart hurts for what I felt he was being accused of. And I would 100% disagree with that. And maybe
I'm not accusing anybody, wait a
Maybe
minute.
I'm
Wait a
misinterpreting.
minute.
I'm just it's my turn to speak right now. I'm just speaking to the integrity of him and how he does support local business and does not respond to anyone. And so this is just my council comment.
You don't get to say that I accused
My
him
interpretation.
of anything.
My interpretation, so.
Okay, Zach,
I have no comment tonight.
Patrick,
Comment.
so, and I really don't either. I feel bad that you feel that way and you feel that bad, and I don't think I'm that person either, but, you know, I try the best I can. Do I always get it right? Of course not. Of course not. I'm human. And so, I've explained to you the best I could as far as the letter is concerned, but, city administrator?
Just as I promised, at the conclusion of every meeting, be asking if you're ready for municipal consent, knowing that we contract with KLJ to do the third-party independent review of the final layout. I'm certain that answer is no, and so I'll ask again in 2 weeks.
I'm not ready.
We're still waiting for information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I assume that, but I promised that I would ask at the
Yeah.
conclusion of every meeting, so.
Okay, city attorney?
Yes. City council will be going into closed session for 2 items pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D05 subdivision 3B as it relates to attorney-client privilege regarding Crow Wing County District File number 18CV 25-4198. And then the second item is pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D03 for labor negotiations.
Make a motion to close the open session and open the close.
Motion.
Second.
Second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, move forward then. That ends the regular city council meeting. Thanks for coming.
Of all the fraud.